good. Thank you all for being here today. Our speaker is Marvin Lozano, and he's a business advisor to the Small Business Development Center at CNM. And what I learned in talking to Marvin is he actually started the very first SBDC here in Albuquerque. In what year that was?
Long time.
Long time ago. Okay. So he now trains advisors, as well as he's a part-time advisor with the SBDC. So he has a lot of great experience. He's a professional, bilingual commercial lender, entrepreneurial consultant, and he's taught at CNM business courses as well. So he has extensive experience in higher ed, in entrepreneurial training, commercial lending, consulting with English and Spanish-speaking entrepreneurs starting and growing their businesses. And his academic background is a bachelor's degree from Arizona State in business. He has a master's of management and policy degree from University of Arizona and a doctor of education degree from UNM. So welcome, Marvin. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you for inviting me. And thank you, all of you, for being here, for taking time during your lunch to be here and to allow us at the Small Business Development Center. Can you hear me back there? I can speak a little louder if you can. To be here with you and to share a little bit about what we do in the community and what we consider our niche to be. I know that Stacy is very active, and he is has a wonderful wealth of knowledge in this topic. So
where do I send the check?
Yeah.
Yeah, right there. Okay.
No, sincerely, we seem to run in the same circles sometimes when we see people. So here's what I like to do. I like to speak with folks, and I like to engage the audience. So as I speak to these issues and talk about entrepreneurship and small business development, what we do at the center, I do believe we have, how much time an hour? Please feel free to ask a question, and I will do my best to answer it. Okay? All right, I want to make this useful for you. This is what the SBDC is about. Okay, I've been fortunate in my career, as was shared in the introduction. I have an academic background I believe that is applicable to the things that I do. It was, in fact, business administration that I studied. And the way I originally got into this is I was looking for a class to take as an elective. And at ASU, they were offering a collaboration with the Small Business Administration. It was a Small Business Institute class. And I really, really liked the idea of going out in the community, learning from entrepreneurs, and finding out what their needs were. Okay? And so I have business undergraduate and graduate degrees, but also I taught at CNM for over 25 years. And I was a lead instructor for entrepreneurship and international business. We were in the process of developing a curriculum, which is finally, I think, starting to take off here at CNM, a little bit more so. And in that endeavor, it was a wonderful, wonderful experience. I really enjoyed that, and we were able to help students actually get into business. So having said that, Small Business Development Center, okay, what is it? Right? What is a Small Business Development Center? So let's see if I can make this work. Oh, here we go. Okay, yes, it's true. I was here in Albuquerque when the first Small Business Development Center was started, which was actually about 1989. I think it was 1991 when Albuquerque, it wasn't CNM that, for some of you who may remember, was called TVI. Okay, y'all remember that? Those that you remember, it was eventually changed to CNM now, because I remember going on conferences, right? They'd say, well, I'm going to go to this conference, and other faculty would go too. And people would say, what's a TVI, right? Yeah, what are you, right? And so eventually the message was the name has to be more appropriate to what the college was doing as it grew and developed, right? But yes, founded in 1989, so we've been around a while. And it's very, very much grown as an organization. Small Business Development Center, the acronym is what? SBDC, and people know us by that. So, large organization. In fact, next Monday, we are all flying in our network to Long Beach, California for the national conference that we have where we network with the other 1,000 service centers that are throughout the United States. And it's a wonderful opportunity for us to learn from them, right? They learn from us. And we're able to do what? Adapt the skills that we provide, learn to be more innovative, okay, and come back and share them with the people that are our clients, the people that we work with. And so that's very important. We are not the SBA. Sometimes people come up, does everyone have heard of the SBA? Small Business Administration, right? SBA, federal agency. We are not the SBA. They are, I think, very important though, because they fund us. We are, think of it as we deliver the services, okay, to the actual clients who are looking to develop an entrepreneurial idea, okay, or to take an existing business and grow it. And I've been fortunate because prior to being in academia, you know, and teaching, and I've taught it at four-year schools. I taught graduate classes also in entrepreneurship and other areas. But where I learned a lot of this stuff was in commercial lending, where I would sit across the table from somebody who says, hey, you know, I want to start a business. And I say, okay, why are you here? And they say, because I need a loan. Wrong answer, right? You don't need a loan. You need to be clear on your idea. You need to be clear on what your passion is and what you want to do. Of course, I wasn't going to say that because we were not in the banking, nor are they today in the business of what? Telling people that they shouldn't be there. Okay, banks are lenders, they're businesses, they don't make money unless they make loans. I said one day I want to be on the other side of the table where I can share with people the important things. It's not borrowing money that you don't need, it's being clear on your idea and what you want to do. So yes, we deliver services that the SBA, right, is funded to provide throughout the country. Part of our funding comes from the New Mexico State Legislature. Okay, so we are always active up in Santa Fe. When the legislature's in session, we are up there talking to the legislators. We want to know what they need, not just in Albuquerque, not just in Las Cruces, but in the outlying communities that don't get a lot of recognition, right? That have the small businesses that need help, and you know, they just don't have the access. Like here, you can go to UNM and take your class with our illustrious. Right? Or you can go to CMM, or you can go online. You've got this wonderful facility. Most folks don't have that. So it's important we have outreach. We are hosted by CNM. The organization that I'm located at is actually at the Montoya campus, east side, but we travel to various locations, and I'll share with you what those are. It's one's at the Workforce Training Center. Okay? Where I am, it's CNM Montoya campus. We have a presence at the Albuquerque Hispano Chamber of Commerce for folks that are bilingual. Yo hablo español, yo puedo enseñar en español, ya he tratado muchas clases. So I speak Spanish. I taught monolingual classes. In fact, I created the business outline program for the chamber, and it's still being taught today. It's a really important component of what they do. What are we here for? What's our mission, right? Our mission as an SBDC is to develop skilled entrepreneurs, right? And so many times people say, well, how do you define a skilled entrepreneur? Anybody want to volunteer how they see a skilled entrepreneur? In your mind, what is a skilled entrepreneur?
A whole lot of risk of failure before you succeed.
There is a risk of failure, right? Right? And sometimes folks don't want to think about that, right? But that is part of the issue, right? Part of the challenge, yes.
Financial knowledge to
Yes.
make an idea work so that they avoid bankruptcy.
Absolutely, thank you. And sometimes, yes, sir.
The skill to be able to gather resources and apply them to a project.
Absolutely, yeah. How do we make it make sense, right? How do we apply it? So we can have this abstract idea, okay? And maybe we are very good at that, and that's good. How do we bring that, turn it around a little bit and show that when we start looking at who the customers are, how do we then assure ourselves that we really do know who those customers are, right? And how do we know that the market is really there to grow and sustain so that we can be strong businesses, right? Jumping a little bit ahead. Anything else on skill? What skill means? Anybody? Skill? Yes.
Self-confidence
Yes.
is very important.
Yes, and I like to share that that when we talk about marketing, which is an important component of being an entrepreneur, isn't it? The marketing starts where? Online? It's important, but where does it start? Where does it start? It starts with us. It starts with us, because every time that we're in front of people, right, and you're talking about your business, who are they assessing? They're assessing the business initially, right, because it hasn't grown yet. They don't know much about the business. They're looking at you, right, and confidence is important. Do you understand? Do you project well your idea? Does it make you communicate it well? Are you somewhat financially literate? And I'm not saying you have to have an MBA in finance, but are you able to communicate your numbers? If somebody asks you, hey, how is this going to work? How are you going to make money? Okay, because one of the metrics, right, of success, one of the metrics is what? Whether they make money. Profits. Profits, right? So, and that's real important, because we can have sales, a lot of sales, but they may be offset by what? A lot of expenses. And where's the profit? And I've been fortunate in the career that I've had, because I've been able to actually see that on both sides, where people come in with a great idea, but don't have that skill. And fortunately, at the Small Business Development Center, UNM, all the other resources that are in the community, we really don't have an excuse for what? For becoming skilled in terms of being able to analyze and assess. Some of it we just have to learn the hard way. We have to go out and do it. There's an expression that is, you can overanalyze anything, okay? At some point we have to act. Okay, we have to act, and we have to take this idea on. So develop skilled entrepreneurs, a lot of different things, okay? But the idea is that we're here to help as advisors. That's one of the things I do, okay, as do the other advisors, is to help people, right, understand through sessions that are free, which I'll share in a second, right, they are free, but to have them basically counsel through and identify where maybe the client feels they can grow. They are or are not ready. And I don't mean to say that everybody needs to come in and add added skills. Some folks are ready to go. Some folks are always ready to go. So strong businesses, how would you define a strong business? What is a strong business? That part always bothers me. We go to meetings and I say, do we need to be a little bit clearer? Yes.
So, in my mind, it's strong business financially able to keep going and growing in our economy, and also not driving the owner nuts. And that's kind of a weird statement, but I mean, I've known so many people in the restaurant business that finally burned down because it takes a lot more time than you realize.
Well, and that is so true. That is so true. Is anyone else here that has experienced that? The idea, sir? Your comment on that?
Cash flow. And you have to have cash flow. That gives you the ability to be able to maneuver.
Absolutely. Cash flow, in my view, Stacy, please share everything, but I believe of all the financial statements, to assess your metrics and to see if you're hitting the numbers, cash flow has to be one of the most important, if not the most important. And the way I've heard it explained, very often in the literature that you read, right, textbooks on entrepreneurship, they include something on cash flow, on starting a business on cash flow. You'll run into that. Okay, but one thing that I read that was really stayed with me, that an author wrote, was think of cash flow, okay, as being to a business what blood is to the human body. Okay? We cannot survive without blood, obviously. A business cannot survive without cash flow, right? Yes.
And that also fits in there. Just from my personal family, my brother owned a radio station.
Yes.
The cash flow was on and off, and he ended up being the DJ, the owner, the engineer. That's too many hats.
That's a lot of hats.
So the cash flow was there enough to sell his business before he totally collapsed. I mean, he's older than I, so
Yes, and so
it fits together somehow.
and there are templates for doing this. One can go on SBA's website, sba.gov, very easy to remember. And there is a lot of information, right? A lot of information. They have an interactive template. You can play with it. You can put in numbers, and then you project your revenue, and you can make it as complex as you want. Maybe you have different services and products. Maybe you have a combination of it. Okay, and then you project what your expenses are, and whatever they may be, and then it'll calculate and give you the net profit, and then you start again. So very important. But for a strong business, and let's kind of reference what you were saying. The idea is it can become very hectic, and it can lead to burnout, right? Because and we see that. Lots of times people are very enthusiastic at the beginning, right? I have my passion clear. I've written my business plan. I'm ready to go. I may or may not have money. It depends whether I need it or not. Okay. And then we start going down that pathway of growing that business to see if it's really going to give us what we want. And so we have to have a lot of discipline. Yes, sir.
When you say cash flow, you mean which kind of source of cash flow? Just by selling your product? Or if you apply for SBIR funding or SDIR funding, can you say that that's the kind of cash flow to our business? And now our business will get stronger.
Yes. Good.
What he said, I don't think.
Okay, do you want to repeat it again?
Well, I mean, when you say cash flow means just money by selling your product, or you can apply for some kind of funding like SBIR and SDIR, this kind of fund.
Yeah, it can be a combination. Yeah, the key with cash flow is think of it as what are your sources of income? What are the sources of revenue or whatever? And it may be, I've worked many years also with nonprofits here in the area. And so when they do this projection of cash flow, the sources of revenue may be that they have grant income. And then there's a combination of actually selling a product or services. The idea is what's coming in to offset what? Anyway, the expenses, right? That's the idea. So the issue of burnout, the way we prevent it, because we need to be skilled in the numbers, the accounting, yes, and understanding our market. But there's also that thing, that side, the softer skills, right? Of knowing what am I experiencing? Do I have a support system? And when I say support system, it doesn't have to be that I've got what? What's commonly thought of when you think of your support system?
Board of directors.
Yeah, board of directors, excellent.
Family and friends. But
Family and friends.
Employees.
So it's all those things, and the key is to have either one of those groups or a combination of. People that you can trust in will tell you the truth, okay? Because you need to be able to bounce that. Once you're working so hard, okay, things can come very vague. I remember one situation that actually it was a student. I was teaching entrepreneurship at CNM, and they actually took their business plans, teaching entrepreneurship and business planning, and wonderful plan, then actually took it out and started the business, the graphics business in this case, right? And so just became overwhelmed because of the demand, okay? And was running literally ragged, right? Trying to to meet the demand that was out there. And that was that burnout issue, right? When do I hire? Because in the plan, okay, it's not something that's set in concrete, is it? No, it's not. It's all it is this is where I'd like to go. As I start, I need to adapt it. This is what's happening now. And her challenge was to do that. She was trying to please everybody. And not say no to anybody. Okay, and by not saying no to anybody, guess what was happening? It was working these outrageous hours. So strong, be clear on what skilled means for you. Be clear on what a strong business means for you. I like the word sustainability. Right? Instead of strong, sustain. I like to tell someone, you know, do you really want to close your doors in 6 months? Or do you want to stop your business in 6 months? No, I don't think most people want to do that. They want over time. So that's why the sustainability is so important, right? Thinking it in those terms. Okay, so the SBDC, we counsel, do trainings, kind of, you know, presentations, if you will. Also, we collaborate with a lot of organizations. I was presenting last Thursday at an organization this is a wonderful idea. That's why I'm sharing it with you. This one is a collaboration between Nusenda, okay? I don't know if you've heard of Nusenda, has this collaboration with pilot organizations that are primarily nonprofits, okay? And what they've done is they've got a huge grant, I think it was from Kellogg Foundation, okay, to initiate a new way of doing micro-lending. Micro-lending being smaller loans, right? Smaller loans. And the criteria that they use is flipped from the traditional lending model. The traditional lending model that I was trained under and lenders in this community work under is 4 things in a nutshell. What is your credit? Do you have a credit score? Or is it good? Okay. Number 2, do you have cash flow? Go back to that word. Cash flow, right? Show me cash flow. And I usually like to tell people, think of it as the banker's thinking, how are you going to pay me back? How long are you going to pay me back? Show me on paper you can pay me back. 3 is collateral. Okay? 3, collateral. What does collateral mean? I'm the banker. I'm taking all the risks. What are you putting up? You know, so we have to be prepared, if we're talking about that kind of a lender, with offering something in return. And that's a different workshop, right, that we go through in that. I understand that. And then the 4th one is something bankers call capacity. Capacity. What would capacity be? What would you think that is?
Well, I'll take you back to my brother's radio
Yes,
station.
please. Good.
The ability to do what it is that you say you're going to do. I mean, he suffered from someone who could not get advertising very well, and he didn't have the heart to fire the person. And finally, he let them go and got someone else. But yeah, you know, the ability. What do you call that? Managerial skill, right?
Yes, and it is managerial skill. Some of us call it marketing, right? And marketing is part of capacity.
A piece of it, right?
You know, right. And so part of that traditional formula, because I'm just trying to share with you, has been that, right? Those 4 areas, okay? So this organization, okay, the Nusenda Collaborative, is to say, look, rather than focusing on those things, why don't we consider the entrepreneur's idea? And they don't need a lot of money. Maybe they need $0 to $10,000. That's a lot of money, right? Okay. But the assessment tool, rather than those 4 C's, is tell me about your idea. Tell me about your idea. And we're going to make a judgment call on your character. Okay. I want to see whether you really, really are able to pay us back, and a judgment call on whether there's some variable stuff there, like the integrity that you will, in fact, follow through on what you say, right? And so it's a new model of micro-lending that's in New Mexico that they're applying with these pilot organizations, primarily nonprofits. It's very, very exciting. And so when we do trainings, it could be like going to those and sharing that we are here to counsel those clients that they lend to help them be what? Skilled and strong in whatever business they choose. Okay? PTAC, has anyone heard of PTAC? Procurement Technical Assistance Center? Okay.
they did a seminar for us here. So they help folks who want to secure government contracts
Yes.
of any type, make those connections, get assistance in applying for them.
Thank you, and they're a wonderful organization. They, in fact, we collaborate with them, that's why they're up here. So we don't charge. Pete doesn't either, they're free services. And so an example may be that, in fact, I talked to, some time back, an individual, I think he was an LLC, who had an IT, right, an IT business, strong IT background, and he wanted to be able to develop more business with who?
Government?
The government. Okay, perfect, the government, right? So his questions, a lot besides the traditional questions of how do I prepare my outlines, my projections, my cash flow, is how do I get my foot in the door? How do I submit a bid, a procurement, right? To get, and this is what they're very good at. They're very good at. They're located, primarily their office is at the Workforce Training Center. And they're very, very experienced. A lot of them have been doing this for private industry for many years. And, you know, some of them retired, kind of like I did. I came back to do stuff. Right? You can't stay out of the workforce, right? And stuff like that. And then IBA. Has anyone heard of IBA? IBA, right? Yes, there's a Jerry Pacheco, a name you will hear that's synonymous with international here in Albuquerque, and New Mexico, actually, if you're interested in some type of international and importing and exporting, now what that means in regards to New Mexico. And so we contract with IBA, and he's the director of IBA. So those issues might be something like, I'm interested in importing a product. Okay, but what do I do? Well, there happens to be a licensed, right? A licensed what? Broker here in Albuquerque, but Jerry's on the border, so he does a lot of work with what? Border industry. Okay. Yes.
Could you help someone who wants to sell something across the border with some of the fine points?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yeah, and he has a whole group of counselors. If you're interested in learning more about him, he has an article that runs in the Business Week, in the Journal every Monday. I think it's every Monday. And it's just interesting to read about him. Their focus is on the border, but there is also, I think, a strong understanding of just global market issues. And they're here to help with that. But you also have, you have licensed brokers here in Albuquerque, logistic experts, right? I was talking to one here, they have their presence near the airport. And it was interesting because what they said to me is we're currently working with an organization who imports body building belts, right? And the customs workers told me, I never thought that was going to really be popular. And so they imported 500 to begin with. Now they're bringing them in big box loads. And they bring them in through Houston. They were bringing them in through Long Beach originally. But the customs broker helps them find the best way to get them in, and then the logistics expert figures out where to take them, okay? And so if you have an idea with international business, you're at the right place. In Santa Fe, okay, there's a tremendous amount of importing products, parts, right? And other products that come in, okay? And then they have to be warehoused somewhere. The logistics experts will put them here and then ship them wherever you want them to go. Yes, sir.
So some companies sell the products online, like
Yes.
Amazon, eBay.
Yes. Yes, this fellow I was telling you about, he started with the belts. That's the way he sells them. He sells them through Amazon. That's why they come in through Houston.
Do they need the broker to?
The broker deals with the duties, the customs duties, and they have a partnership here in Albuquerque, the one I'm referencing, where they help with the logistics, meaning where's the best way to bring it in and where's the best place to ship it and warehouse it. Okay. Yes.
So since you're on that topic, will they help you with some of the tax problems? I mean, the United States has all these, even on your personal income tax, you know, they have that place where you have to report
Right,
foreign
right, right.
income and all that. Will
Right.
they help you with that? Because that's what
Yeah.
makes me nervous. It's like, I don't want a
Yeah.
big tax bill later.
Well, they're not accountants and they're not CPAs.
No, no,
okay?
but so I kind of know,
Yeah.
like if they were buying access to what I'm selling online.
What their expertise is connecting, right, their client with who? With someone outside the country who's able to help manufacture that product.
Right, a
Right.
product,
And then
maybe
bring it in.
buying and selling. I'm thinking intellectual kind of access to my intellectual property.
I don't think, Stacy?
Well, yeah, I worked at West, so we had questions like that a lot. And I would probably send them to you guys at SBDC to start that conversation. But if it's tax, I have a tax accountant.
But, right, but I mean, so they would.
It gets too layered.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be the right person then to go and ask those questions, but they might know somebody that could probably
They may know.
less expensive way to
Yes.
deal with it. I mean, I think the currency stuff adjusts, right? If you have people buy a product, they buy it with their dollars and it converts it and all
Well,
that.
that part, yeah, that's important with the cash flow projections. It's actually the determination of what kind of tax you're gonna be paying that we try to stay away from.
So you can really look at it.
My experience with IBC, but it was always about them helping make a connection for you to a potential vendor or potential customer.
Right.
It's more the people side of it. Business side, I'd go to somebody in SBDC who has some expertise in that, or maybe even somebody who's working on a score. But I'm going to go to you guys for that, and then my tax accountant specifically with what I'm doing. But you got to find somebody who knows that. That's
Yeah.
like,
It's a wonderful question. It's a wonderful
have
question.
somebody they'd recommend.
Here's a lot of what we do, right? And so what we network in the community, we're out and about, we're constantly having what we call forums, where we bring in folks that specialize in a particular area. We do it with the commercial lenders. We do it with what are called the alternative lenders, like that micro lending group. That's called an alternative lending to the commercial lenders. And we run into and work with professionals all the time. Okay, and so sometimes they actually come to those because they're looking for what? Clients. And that's their area. And so we, in networking, connect with folks that specialize in that area. And then we never tell you, go see just that person. It's, here are the folks that are involved in that kind of work. You are the decision maker. You need to decide who. We're here to facilitate, not make decisions, right? And that's, okay. Yeah, and so those are the three we try to cover in our network. Okay, and so our services, I'm sure that's always an important topic. Well, what do you do for free, right? What do you do? Our counseling is always confidential. That means you come to see one of our counselors, okay? As a policy, we always make it private, meaning that if we're in an office environment, right, as long as the individual's comfortable, then we're going to close the door, because we understand sometimes information's sensitive and we don't want it, right? You don't want to share it, especially when we start talking about money or numbers and things like that, right? So, or maybe you have an idea for a particular product that you're creating. You don't want all the world to know it. You want to have a competitive advantage somewhere down the road, right? So it is private, okay? We all, as advisors, like confidentiality agreements. We are prohibited from sharing the information. We're prohibited of investing in your business. You can't do any of that. We assist in forming business entities. So we'll talk through what your options are in investing. We'll talk. Yes, sir.
So is there a way to get assigned like a project manager or somebody that will help you work on a project? Because in my experience, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people that you had one person with each one of these topics, you go see 6 different people, each time you have to bring them up to speed with that, what the other person's doing. It seems that that's sort of a
Great question. Great question. So, yeah, so this is the way we address that. We have 18 centers in New Mexico, and each center has multiple advisors and different experiences and different strengths, all the way from, we have folks in Los Alamos, I think some folks are in Taos, right, in Las Cruces around. And so what we do is we have this network where we can call, right, on folks with different experience and their network, right, to help solve a problem with one of our clients. So when we do that confidential assessment, one of the things that we do is in the initial session, we try to find out what exactly you want. Okay, our sessions are not one time goodbye, never see you again, right? It's to assess what the individual client wants, to find out, and it may be just a one-time meeting. Okay, I had somebody come over this week and say, I'm here to see you because I want to buy a building. Okay, and I want you, can you help me, okay, think this through and go to a lender? I said, yes, I can. We network with those folks. Okay, we met her Monday. Tuesday, she brought me financial statements. We looked at the cash flow. I said, this looks good. We went to those 4 C's because she's going to a traditional lender. At 2 this afternoon, about an hour and 15 minutes, she's meeting with a lender who I had called, and I said, this is kind of what it looks like. Never mentioned their name. I said, the numbers look this way, the business is this. She says, I want to talk to you. So we can move very fast that way. Okay, but that was that case.
So, just to clarify, and I've been through some of your services.
Yes, yes.
So if you had a big business plan, like he's talking
Yes.
about, where you have all these sub parts, right? And maybe you didn't go through somebody's class, but you have all these parts, like you're manufacturing something. You got to get money eventually to make it more of them.
Yeah.
So somebody might look at your big business plan and then break it into harvestable little tasks, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, like that person. I mean, I've met some people like that. They're really sharp. They're really project managers. They've got it nailed, but they do need help with little pieces of it.
Right.
In fact, I'll mention one of them now that's doing a free lecture on project management. She's been doing that for 20 years. And so she's offering it free. It's coming up sometime in the next month. I think it's that pipe, but yeah, basically a lot of people are not that organized. Like I'm not that organized right now because I don't have to be.
Right.
But you would look at their overall business plan, maybe say, well, you know, when we get here, we need to see this person about money, but this part you need to do. Like they sent me to that accounting workshop downtown, or it's at San Mateo and Central in Albuquerque through the state. They sent me there. I mean, they've helped me on and off for the last 3 years.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And so it may be that it's not that, the service may be something that is just to clarify what you want to do, and then find out how to develop your business plan if that's what you're doing. And that's fine. Remember, we're there to find a way to help and support you. And so while you were talking, I saw in the back on that screen, right? So we have one of our advisors who's in Los Lunas, and he's going to be here doing a seminar on marketing. He's an expert with marketing resources that are available to you through the Small Business Development Center. And these are marketing sources that, as an individual, would be too costly for someone who's an entrepreneur to subscribe to. But as a network of over 1,000 centers across the country, we can afford to subscribe and get a discounted rate. Come to that. I saw it on the screen that keeps moving. His first name is Chris. In fact, he's at the UNM Valencia campus. Okay, and he's exceptional with marketing and being able to find the right industry metrics to help you assess whether your business or your idea in the future is going up or down. What are the trends? You know, is it going up or down? And then the demographics, right? Free resources. I mean, WEST is another one. Since you mentioned WEST. Anybody know what the acronym stands for when you say WEST? WEST?
Women entrepreneurs.
Almost.
Training.
The W's right.
Center.
Okay, what is, anybody else?
I've been in there too, so I have no idea.
Well, when it started, it was because there were not enough organizations that were addressing women-owned businesses and the need to increase them. Okay, so women's economic self-sufficiency. Okay, and it stuck because of the branding. It's very well known. Agnes Noonan's the director, and she grew it right from one office here in the P&M building. Okay, many, many years ago, and it is very, very good. They train, they help with business plans. So lots of resources. Their main office is just located down the street on Broadway. Okay, it's you know, they built that building without one loan. I think it was $13 million that they raised to make that building, and it's eco-friendly. I mean, you walk in and it is a beautiful building. You know, so another resource. Maybe that's what you want to look into. But yeah, entity formation, marketing and plan assistance, funding options. There are many out there, market industry analysis, and sometimes specific workshops. If somebody says, you know what, I need something on QuickBooks, if we hear enough about it, we will contract with someone who specializes in that, right? And then we'll have them come in and have them come in and present the workshop, okay? So yeah, there's a lot of resources out there. Again, this is where we're located. Our specific office covers Bernalillo and Sandoval counties. Workforce Training Center, we have large office space, and some of those workshops are there, the trainings. Montoya campus, that's the east side presence that we have. The Hispano Chamber of Commerce down the street, south of downtown, where they're located. Fat Piper Rec, that's where I was this morning. I was meeting with a client this morning, and she's been funded, small loan, right? But, you know, she was very happy. We were meeting there. She's going to do her ribbon cutting actually at Fat Pipe in Rio Rancho, because that's where she lives, in that area. It's really interesting to see what happens. And Zocalo Plaza is by appointment, and it is in Bernalillo for folks that live out in that area. We okay so far? What's
Send an email or call them for me?
Yes, what you do is the best thing to do is to, I'll give you that number, okay? It's, if you want, it's 224-5250. 224-5250, and our receptionist will take your call, okay? And then we'll say, okay, when do you want to meet? And she will find an advisor for you at one of these locations, whatever's convenient for you. Okay?
I also do just want to mention that we have open hours with SBDC advisors.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Thank you.
Here at the center, and that's on our website. So if you can't make it there initially, you can always meet for your first meeting here.
Okay. So yeah, it should never be an issue getting in to see a chemist. Well, guess what? That is the end. The phone number is up here.
That
And
one's just up, it's a little small where I'm sitting. Here we go.
what's that? 224-5250. And that's our receptionist. And yeah, you can, I think it's open hours here, isn't it?
Yeah, they're open in full hours from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Usually the first Friday of every month, but for September, it'll be on the 13th.
Okay, thank you. And the others are by appointment to make sure that we fit you in with a private time for an hour, right? And remember, this is just the initial session. We get you acquainted with what we do, and then you know, you the decision maker go forward. So, any other questions from anybody that I have not? Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Great to see you.